announcement of the Passion of Jesus, he allowed a glimpse of his heavenly glory to be seen by these three disciples. He wished to teach his disciples in this way that it was impossible for him as well as for them, and in this case for us too, that it was impossible to reach the glory of the Transfiguration without passing through suffering. What has been disfigured by sin cannot regain its original supernatural beauty except by way of purifying suffering. And so Peter, in ecstasy before this beautiful vision of heaven, he says, "It is good for us to be here." The Gospel says that he did not know what he was saying because he wanted to stay there forever. So Peter didn't understand that it doesn't matter where we are at or in what condition we are, as long as we are where Jesus wants us to be. See? So he didn't realize that what really mattered was to be what God's will for him was. In fact, a few days later, Jesus specifically takes the same three disciples to accompany him into the Garden of Olives. And he tells them, "You stay here, I will get inside, and I will pray." And they didn't stay. Jesus wanted them to be there, they didn't stay. Then just a few moments later, Jesus found himself at a place where he should not be at that very moment. He had been following our Lord from too far away, hidden, fearful. Then a woman sees him and she says, "You are one of them." And he says, "I do not know that man." See? So in fact, the only thing that Jesus wanted for the last week before his passion, the only thing that Jesus wanted from his disciples was some consolation. And there is no better way of consoling someone than suffering the same thing, than going through the same trials with him. But the disciples didn't want to be there. See? So there are in our lives, and in the lives of each one of us, very specific times when we are supposed to prove to God that he is everything, that he alone suffices. I mean, we have gone through opportunities like this thousands of times. I'm sure you would be able to name the last time you went through something like this, and probably you didn't pass the test. You denied knowing Christ. So what matters is simply that we should find ourselves accomplishing at every moment the will of God, being where he wants us to be. It could be in a hospital room, on the street, betrayed, with no money or job or sick or whatever. As long as we know that we are at that moment fulfilling God's will, that's all that matters. See? For example, Jesus, as you know, was crucified with 2 thieves. Some people say that he should have been crucified with at least 2 of his disciples. But they were afraid. So these 2 thieves found themselves at a specific time. One took the opportunity to love God, the other didn't. One said, Lord, remember me when you are in heaven. The other one complained. So how many more opportunities do you think you are going to have? Do you think that the last one was going to be the last one? How do we deal with our daily struggle with life? In the presence of God or complaining time after time? In fact, the whole purpose of Lent is simply to accompany our Lord, to suffer with Him, to suffer with Him. That's what we're doing. So let us, from now on, make a little resolution to take the opportunity, every time that we find one, to be faithful, to see ourselves where Christ wants us to be, accomplishing His will.